Well, I hope everyone is having themselves a lovely, lovely Monday so far. I know I am. And I have a treat for every single one of you. I'm going to be going on a journey. For the next 3 videos, I'm going to be going on a journey, detailing to you all the story of the greatest movie that never came to be, Dexter's Odyssey. Created by a man considered by Encyclopedia Dramatica to be the next fucking Christian. Be the next fucking Christian, Mr. Tim Box. Now, I've heard of Tim Box before. Okay, I've actually heard about Tim Box back in, I want to say 2018, so that's about 5 years ago. 5 fucking years ago, I've heard the story of Tim Box. And I'm not entirely sure if Tim Box is still up on the internet there, but if Encyclopedia Dramatica wants to crown him as the heir to being the next Christian, if they want to call him the next Christian, you gotta take their fucking word on it. Okay, sure, granted, they probably called someone else like the next Christian already. There's probably 25, 50 people that ED has called the next Christian over the years, but I really like Tim Box as a contender. I really think he has what it takes to be the next Christian. There. I know, I've said people like Warhammer have what it takes to be the next Christian, but I think Warhammer might have some competition there, so for the next 3 videos, I'm going to be reading you the 3 parts of Dexter's Ology, because it's a trilogy, if you haven't noticed. It's a fucking trilogy. There. It even says so. Right here in the first part. The title of this HD digital video shot $865 million epic film blockbuster trilogy is Dexter's Odyssey, a tale of the Tim Box Wars. So see, since this is a trilogy, it makes only sense that I split it up into 3 videos instead of, just reading the entire goddamn thing, because every single part is fucking long in its own right. There. So anyway, I'm going to continue where I left off, and let's get into the fucking madness. The genres are science fiction, action, adventure, and fantasy. Here is the synopsis. The birth of Mandark is where Mandark occupied Kotonomia, which, right off the bat, I just want to say that Kotonomia is a fake place, but there are a bunch of places, sprinkled into this little epic 3-part trilogy, which are actual real places there. Just a fun little fact for you, but Kotonomiya is not a real place. Anyway, continuing. But lost it to the Timboxians, which, yes, he has named a race of people after himself. It's a fucking self-insert there of himself and his own people. It's kind of like how Christian inserted himself as the mayor of Quickville in the Sonichu comics. It's like that, but 7 times worse, 7 times more insane. Anyway. But lost it to the Timboxians, led by a Reptarian named Arthur Windbear Zarius. I'm just going to call him Arthur Windbear for the entirety of the first part of the reading there. The Sword of the Phoenix is where the first 23 years of Dexter's life is told, and where we are introduced to the Powerpuff Girls. Yes, you heard that right. The fucking Powerpuff Girls are going to make a goddamn appearance in this goddamn movie. I don't really know if Gendy Tartakovsky and fucking Craig McCracken there are like good friends in real life, but apparently getting their seal of approval doesn't really matter. In Tim Box's eyes, there, we'll just have to fucking go with it, and hope they don't notice. The fall of Mandark is where the last 3 years of Mandark's life is told, and tells us why he was thought to be destroyed for the next 24 years. It kind of sounds like old Tim Box's sequel baiting. Now again, it's been a while since he was last seen on the internet, but I really do hope he comes back to the internet and he gives us a sequel trilogy on this. Because I want one. I want a fucking sequel trilogy to this. But anyway, here's part 1 of our epic saga, The Birth of Mandark. After a sweeping opening sequence through the Reptarian landscape, synchronized with James Horner's Sacred Guardians of the Mountain from the Disney's Mighty Joe Young soundtrack, the script began with Tom Amok Zarius, the son of Dexter Andrew Zarius, and his brother David, going to the Millennium 20 space station to see his old friend Professor Steve Utonium. Now, I grew up with the Powerpuff Girls as a kid, as I'm sure a lot of you have, but did they ever mention in the fucking show that the professor's name was Steve? Because I don't remember them mentioning the professor's name was Steve in the show. There. Maybe there's an episode where they call him Steve and I just completely forgot or missed that one, but I don't remember him ever having a first name there. Anyway, now the Emperor of the Tim Box Federation of Galactic Systems. Yes, really. Tom Amok's story began with his discussion about the history of the Tim Box Wars before Mandark came along. It then opens with the birth of Mandark at the hands of a Lepokian teenager on Lepuk's 5th moon. Mandark emerges from Lepuk 5 and turned himself into a gigantic black entity of pure evil, which was all but destroyed by the Lepukian police. Yeah, I guess the army isn't needed. We'll just have the fucking police deal with it. During the battle, a small fragment fell away from the entity and drifted through space for a week before landing on the planet Astronoma, which this kind of sounds like the fucking origin story of Aku from Samurai Jack there, which yes, Tim Box is also a big fan of. Let's see, what did I just? With a tremendous crash in a lake, releasing him and gave him his self-awareness, personality, humanoid form, and the capacity to shapeshift. He encountered Derek and other Astronomian warlords, who eventually made Mandark the new Emperor of Astronoma, to replace the late Lord Samson Astronomenov, who died in a car accident 12 days ago. Hell of a fucking way for your former emperor to go there. You know, didn't get assassinated, didn't die in battle like a real Chad, didn't die of old age. No, he just fucking died in a car crash. And it took them 12 days to find themselves a new emperor. They're holy fuck, these people are inept. Anyway. Mandark met up with Mojo Jojo, the lord of the Primakill, a race of mutated apes and monkeys, and went to the Astronomian territory of Reptaria, to build an army of Verikil Tall Orc, Strong Borg, Urukai hybrids made out of. Hold on. Plasticine. Thank you, Google. Which, in case you're wondering what plasticine is, a soft modeling material used especially by children. So, in other words, very strong. In the city world of Townsville, which, yes, Townsville is no longer a fucking city. It's like fucking Coruscant from Star Wars. There. The Emperor Thomas Utonium heard the news that Mandark has already began his dynasty in Astronoma and decided to go to war. Are you enjoying this so far? Does this sound like an epic movie you want to sit down and watch during the summer? I know it is for me. But wait, there's more. Okay. 325 years later, Mandark began to be ready for the morning and went to his massive laboratory in the northeastern wing of Anatomanar, the Astromanian Imperial Palace. His computer told him to attack Contolonia, and he agreed. He tells Mojo Jojo through the crystal ball, the Armageddus, there that the time has come to send their armies to Contolonia. He went to the fortress town of Anator, and not one and, but two ands, and finally send the troops of Mandark and Mojo Jojo to attack Contolonia. This might be the stupidest thing I fucking read, but goddamn do I fucking love it. I want this movie to happen now. In Contolonia, a group of friends, led by Ptolemy Kong III, are leaving work with the Neurotomic Protocore when they saw Mandark in disguise as Susan. Mandark's alias in the Dexter's Laboratory episode, A Boy Named Sue. When they laughed at Mandark's nickname, Mandark began to destroy some buildings in Contolonia, causing his armies to tear down the wall that surrounded the valley-wide city of Alamania. Contolonia, Ptolemy Kong III and his friends and Professor Leo Zarius, fuck your middle name, left Contolonia to seek refuge in the dinosaur world of Reptaria. By the way, just in case you guys want to know, Timbox is also very obsessed with dinosaurs there. You're probably going to be seeing a lot of dinosaurs in this movie. The story... Jesus. The story shifted 20 years later in the year 345 TE. I have no idea what TE means. In Reptaria, we are introduced to Arthur Windbear, Mary Oceanbird Taros, Ricky Dandoros, Cindy Tatso, Samuel McSalmon, and a talking Sumerian rat monkey named Ike. Mandark and Mojo Jojo watched them and decided to steal the whatever the fuck that is, the protocore thing. Fuck you. At the Czar's residence. It took them fucking 20 years for them to decide, you know what? Maybe we should steal the protocol thing. The Mojo. What do you think, there, buddy? That's not a good idea, boss man. We wasted 20 years sitting our ass and jerking off. Well, we're finally gonna do it. Arthur and his friend At the Tsar's residence, Arthur and his friends were magically transformed with magical ultra superpowers by the ghost of Emperor Thomas Suetonium. Yes, really. Together, they decided to pick up Andrew Quintus, a Townsvillian worker from his home city planet. When they arrived on the city planet of Townsville, they are pursued by Mojo Jojo at first, but escape to the Townsville Research Center, where they saw Andrew being captured by Mandark and was going to be killed by him. Arthur Windbear challenges Mandark, but as they fight, Mandark turns himself into a dragon, because of course, and drags himself and Arthur into the streets where they fight as they fell. When the dragon Mandark crashes into the street, Mandark turns himself into a Fastotaurus Rex, the dinosaur from Peter Jackson's King Kong remake. So we're also going to throw Peter Jackson in there because fuck you, that's why. Okay, Arthur defeats Mandark, who escapes with Andrew now at their hands. Arthur and his crew return to Reptaria. Hearing this, Mandark transforms into a Vastaodon, a fell beast-like creature, which is based on John House Fell's beast design, but with the body looking like a large predatory dinosaur, and have 2 long arms with 5 finger claws on each hand. And Mojo Jojo rode on it to Reptaria, which it's very nice that fucking Mandark gave Mojo Jojo a ride. I was really nervous Mojo Jojo would have to wait half an hour just to get a fucking Uber to get to Reptaria there. So fucking nice of Mandark there. What a true homie. After teaching them war plans, Arthur Windbear and his crew travel through the variety of Reptarian environments, add a T-Rex and another dinosaur into their list of friends, and survive a Iguanodon stampede. In a Reptarian jungle, they are threatened by a Allosaurus, but Arthur turns into a Venatorilla, a ape that resembles Mojo Jojo from the Powerpuff Girls movie, and fights the Allosaurus and 2 of its brothers. After killing the Allosaurus' 2 brothers, Arthur Windbear challenges the leading Allosaurus in a cliff overlooking a river 35 feet below the cliff, and shatters beneath the Allosaurus' feet. Fell into the river and pursued each other in the river and into the endless stairs of Veros, and into the northeastern end of the highest peak of Mount Veros, a mountain that resembles Mount Everest, where Arthur Windbear finally kills the Allosaurus by throwing it down and smotting his corpse upon the mountainside. Okay then. Arthur Windbear was wounded during the battle, but recovered in the Tsar's residence. Oh, that's good. I was really afraid for a moment there that Arthur was gonna fucking die. You understand now why I just want to fucking read this part right now? Where I want to read the first part right now, but anyway. The 13 friends met up at the Tsarist residence, and together they began their journey to Diaxios, the largest spaceport in Reptaria, because yes, dinosaurs know how to space travel now. Why? Fuck you. 30 days into the quest, Toveron the T-Rex brought down a large Allosaurus Krognor. Later, the 13th friends stopped at Tarak, the Truden's house and sends an email to the Timboxian and Reptarian armies to fight the Astronomians to free Cotolomia. After the 13 friends reach Diaxios to be greeted by a snake Pliskin-like swashbuckler slash hero slash colonel Telenos. Meanwhile, Mandark and Mojo Jojo sends an army of strong Borgs, Primakill, V-Rexes, and another dinosaur. Fuck you. I'm not reading that goddamn thing. You're not paying me. Fuck you. The same dinosaur that resembles a cross between a Carnotaurus and a T-Rex, whom it was modeled after Disney's dinosaurs, to the Astronomian territory in Laurasia. But along the way, the Astronomians, Primakill, V-Rexes, and fuck you, were attacked by Talanos troops, but managed to move on to the Astronomians' territory in Laurasia. Arthur Windbear began training the army for 4 days. Okay, very impressive there. The night before the battle, Arthur Windbear is visited by a holographic image of Professor Leo Zarius, his father. He told Arthur that not only his soldiers will drive the Astronomians, the strength and the power of the Timbox spirit and the Timboxian spirit and the virtue of Timboxian righteousness will also free Cotolomia. Yes, really. Oh. The next morning, Arthur Windbear and Talanos, fuck you, and Arthur's 13 friends led the Reptarian and Timboxian armies to Cotolomia, where an epic battle breaks and slave revolt breaks out between the Cotolomians, Reptarians, Timboxians, Astronomians, and Primakill. Later in the battle, Brutus Dracos reveals himself as an alien, because why not, and fights with Arthur and Polemy Kong, who finally kills him when the explosion of the giant Astronomian war machine explodes, destroying the Astronomian and Primakill armies. How convenient. And the moving war towers with mechanical wheels and legs. Okay. Olip towers suddenly. Mandark appears, transports Arthur and Telenos, and Arthur's 13 friends are the Timboxian and Reptarian armies to his laboratories. Apparently his fucking lab's that big if they're able to fit all these fucking people. And threatened to introduce them to his armies of strong Borgs. Kinda makes you wonder why you didn't release the fucking strong Borgs earlier. Anyway, Arthur snaps at this threat and challenges Mandark in a spectacular battle across Mandark's vast and massive laboratories, where Arthur wins. Mandark, defeated by Arthur, swears, "I'll get you one day, Arthur Windbear, one day." And then they just fucking let Mandark just fuck off. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but if I was just fucking Arthur, I would have just put a bullet in his head. Just say, fuck you. Bang. There were celebrations. I'm gonna go fucking insane because of this shit. There were celebrations of Cotolamia and Reptaria, and Arthur Windbear and Mary Oceanbird was married. Oh, it's nice to know that little love side plot was all tied up there. I was genuinely nervous that Arthur and Mary would never get married. And they live happily ever after. Thus ends the birth of Mandark, though it continues with the Sword of the Phoenix and the fall of Mandark. Okay. Yeah, so this is just part 1. I haven't read part 2 yet, but you're gonna have to wait for tomorrow for that fucking reading there. But yeah. Holy shit, that was a fucking train wreck. I don't know how I managed to make it through that without having a mental breakdown, but for some strange reason I did. And I'm going to go ahead now and say my goodbyes, and I'm going to spend the next half an hour crying hysterically to myself. Because holy shit, this was a long fucking read. Catch you all tomorrow for part 2.